What's going on, everyone? Drew here. This video, I'm going to go back 9 years ago when I first started my photo booth rental business and walk you guys through the evolution of the photo booths that I've had. 9-year journey. It's been crazy. So yes, 9 years ago, we started our photo booth rental business. When I say we, it was me and a good friend of mine. I didn't want to buy a photo booth from a company back then because there weren't a lot of companies, and if you were looking to buy one from one of the companies that did sell them, very expensive. So my buddy and I, we ended up going the DIY route, which will be a common theme in this video. The first photo booth we made was literally from an IKEA bookshelf. I think we paid maybe 60 bucks for the shelf, but what we did in the plan was we just turned the booth around, we drilled some holes in the back. The top shelf was rigged up to hold the camera. Then the shelf below it, we cut a little square out, put a laptop that had a touch screen, put the laptop in there, mounted it, and then we just had a light going over. This is a very, very, it's crazy because him and I were not really good at building at all. I'm still not good, but it got us through a lot of events for a few years. This is what we used. Wasn't really ideal when it comes to like looks, but we tried our best to make it look great, painting it black, adding our logo and whatnot. So that got us through the first couple years of our business. I would say around 2 to 3 years in, my partner and I decided to go separate ways. We're still good friends, but he was focusing more on work and I, had other plans for the business. So we ended up buying a photo booth from a local company. I honestly don't even remember the name of this company, but we bought this very big, bulky, I bought it. It was my rental company. I bought a very bulky white acrylic photo booth. It had literally two sections to it. The top part, you could see through it. It was, again, a DSLR setup. But what I liked about this setup was at the bottom, you could fit the printer inside of the booth. I didn't have this booth for long because it was very, very big and very annoying to set up. And, I used that for a couple years, ended up selling it. But, it's all about the evolution of the boothing. And I think I honestly, guys, I think I probably spent like $1,500 for that shell, which, I thought was a decent deal, but it was hard to go from paying, I think, for our first setup about 200 bucks, then 1,500 for the next setup. But from there, I used that for a while, and then I started my recent photo booth company with my wife, but back then she was my fiance. We ended up going a little bit more portable. We still went with the DSLR photo booth. I believe we got this one on somewhere online. I don't really remember the name of the seller for this one, but it was a nice, beautiful wooden photo booth that sat on a DJ tripod, super portable, super easy to set up. And then this one actually had and while we were using this booth, the iPad photo booth was introduced. There's a lot of really cool apps back then. This was maybe 3-ish years ago. So again, I was like, let's jump on the bandwagon. Let's get an iPad photo booth. But I didn't want to spend any money, and we went a super, super cheap route. We ended up getting 2 versions of our first iPad booth. Literally were DIY setups, literally just like a ring light with the stand, as you can see right here. This one, we probably used it for like 2 events. Then I realized that it's not sturdy at all, and it became an issue because every other time someone used it, the thing would swivel around the iPad. It just wasn't very sturdy. So we ended up doing another version of this booth, but with just a ring light and a tripod and an iPad mount. This thing was a lot sturdier than the first version that we were using, and I used this for maybe about a year, maybe a little bit longer. But again, this isn't super ideal because if you're doing a drop-off, which towards the end of this, the life of this booth that we use, it's just not sturdy enough to withstand a lot of people knocking into it. So every so often we get a call and say, hey, it's on the ground, and I have to come back and do all that. But then that brings us to the evolved version of this photo booth, where what we did is we removed the flimsy metal tripod that came with the ring light. And what we did is we attached on the ring light a piece of wood, pretty thick piece of plywood. For the first, 6 months that we had this booth, I didn't do any painting to it. I really tried to just get it bare basic because, we were planning on scaling that year to have like 12 of these photo booths. And what we did was, we attached it. We attached the wood to the back of the light. I literally, you guys, went to Amazon, typed in the iPad we have case, and it came with like a rubber case. We cut the top part off, and the case, we just screwed it into the ring light, positioned it perfectly to where it fits right in the middle of the ring light. Then we just popped the iPad in there, and then we attached that whole ring light head unit with the iPad in to a DJ tripod. Pretty sturdy, to be honest. Those tripods are durable, sturdy, really portable. So, you know, finally, we were really starting to notice that more people are interested in the digital. So the iPad photo booth became super popular, and we started to phase out the DSLR setup because I like the idea of doing a drop off, and the iPad photo booth is perfect. The DSLR setup had way too many moving parts, and so we started to make these look a little bit nicer. We started painting all of our booths, and you know, I had no idea how fast we'd ramp up, but we ended up with 12 of these photo booths. We were doing a lot of events, a lot of drop-offs with this, and we tried to make this look as nice as we could. So we started adding a skirt to the DJ tripod. So it was like you have the ring light, and then we made this little skirt, and this was great. I think for about a year or so, we had that set up. We had 12 of these going out, not constantly 12, usually around 8, and the occasional 11, and then, you know, that 12th one was just in case, and honestly, sometimes we would use it for parts. And that brings us to where we are now. We are now using the deluxe booths for all of our rentals. Again, no more DSLR setups, no more DIY photo booth setups. We think that this is the move. Our customers love it. I have confidence now when I go into these really high-end jobs. You know, not to say that our last setup, right, the ring light with the wood in the back and the DJ speaker tripod, like that didn't get the job done. Absolutely. It produces the same photos. The lighting is the same, but the difference is I'm confident in bringing it. If I'm going to charge some of these customers upwards of $750, you know, to our highest paying job, which goes into the thousands. So confidence, these are just way more sturdy. But again, I don't want to make this video to discourage anybody from starting their own photo booth company by making their own equipment. I absolutely preach, if you don't have the money to buy a deluxe booth or any of our other photo booths, build your own. If you're not crafty, find someone that you know that is crafty. You can still build a photo booth, right? Or get the ring light with the stand, and that will cost you like 150 bucks. Obviously, you need your iPad still, but what I'm saying is just get started. That's all that matters. If 9 years ago, right, I was like, if I had that mindset, well, I got to save up to get a really expensive photo booth. Who knows? That could have been 2 years down the drain, you know, or things happen. It could have been longer. So it's all about speed. It's all about just getting started. So whatever you can do, get started. And again, guys, if you do want to buy a photo booth from us, if you want to skip all the steps from going DIY to getting a pre-made photo booth build, go to photobooth101.com. You guys already know how to, you know, where to go and all that. So thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you soon.